What is good, Mexiplanners? If you're considering moving to Merida, Mexico, there are a few things that I recommend that you bring with you. Today, I'm going to give you the Mexitplans Essential Guide as to what to bring to Mexico. Let's go. So today I have some big news for you, Mexitplanners. I'm shooting this video from my house in Atlanta, Georgia, where we've come back to get ready to sell all of our things and our house to go all in Mexico. We're going to be full-time in Merida, Mexico, and this is the final stage of our Mexitplan. So I'm excited to share with you this journey, this chapter of this move. And for many people, this is where most folks start. But for us, this is the final phase for us. We actually are already established in Mexico, as you've seen by all the videos in the past. And this is the final step for us to sell our house, to sell all of our possessions here in Atlanta, and to be all in Merida. Stay tuned for more on that. But today we're going to talk about the essential things. I've gone back and forth to Merida in the last year and a half for a number of times, and each time I find that I need to take a little something with me. And since this is going to be our final time being here in Atlanta after we've sold the house, then I am going to make sure that I've put together an essential guides list that I think of all the things that you should bring with you to Merida that, or to Mexico that I haven't been able to find. All right, so I'm going to try to break this down for you room by room, as opposed to just a long exhaustive list of the things that I think you should bring. So let's get started with the first room, which I believe should be the kitchen. So for your kitchen, we're going to start by talking about appliances. If you have particular kitchen appliances that you're in love with, for me, it's my Jura coffee maker, which is a Swiss-made coffee machine. If I want to replace that in Merida or in Mexico, that coffee machine would cost me over 70,000 pesos, or roughly $3,500. So, it's one of those things, if I can bring it with me, which I'm not sure if I can because I haven't yet, but since this is the last hurrah, I'm going to try to get it there, ship it there, or do something because it's worth it for me to bring it with me and have, my coffee maker that I absolutely love there. One of the reasons I love Connection 60, which is our co-working place that you've heard me probably mention in other videos, is that they offer free coffee made on Jura espresso machines. So it's a little bit of home when I go to work at the co-working facility. So the other things that I would recommend you bring are regional foods like grits or peaches and cream oatmeal, spices, any type of spices, Old Bay, things of that nature that you like. Make sure you pack those in your bag. Also, my daughter loves popcorn salt. So we do things like the candy corn, popcorn salts, things of that nature that they sell here in the States, but we haven't found there in Mexico. So if you have things of that nature that you like in terms of spices or, condiments, bring those with you. Also, any type of jam that you might like. If it's anything other than, you can get plenty of piña, which is pineapple, strawberry, apricot. But if you like peaches or other types of jam that aren't necessarily grape jelly, grape jam, you're not going to find those things there in Mexico. So bring those with you. Also, snacks. If you are a big snack person, if you like a particular type of candy like Twizzlers, I haven't seen Twizzlers anywhere. I'm not a Twizzlers fan, but I know that that's a big thing that people request, that folks mule back with them, are Twizzlers and oatmeal pies. So if you like snacks like Little Debbie snacks or Twizzlers or honey buns or things of that nature, you might want to pack some with you because it's going to be a little different in Mexico. You can still get your sweet tooth satisfied. There are plenty of pastries, but you're going to have to take a step on the wild side and be adventurous and try something new. So if you like a little comfort from home, bring your snacks, your spices, your regional foods like your grits and your oatmeal with you. And then if you can, bring your appliances that you fall in love with that are kitchen appliances. Those are the things that I recommend that you bring for the kitchen. All right, our second room on the Mexitplans Essential Guides as to what to bring with you to Mexico when you're moving is going to be the bathroom. And when I talk about the bathroom, what we'll really focus on, the first thing that comes to mind are bathroom towels. So if you have really nice towels, I suggest you bring those with you. If you use things like supplements, I found that I can get an example is vitamin D3. I bought vitamin D3 in Merida, I got a third of the number of pills that I would get here. So like a 30-day supply. And it was actually 3 times more expensive in Mexico from GNC, which is where I bought it here in Atlanta, GNC. It was 3 times more expensive in Mexico than it is here in the United States. So if you like good quality supplements, bring them with you. We've had a number of folks that use supplements and found it very difficult to get those shipped in and cleared by custom. If that's something that you want to have, make sure you bring those supplements with you so that you don't have any issues trying to get those imported in or cleared through customs. Make sure you bring a spin toothbrush. If you like the toothbrushes that we can get anywhere at Walmart, at any of the drugstores, Walgreens, CVS, or whatever, that are mechanical, and then you press a button and they're battery powered and they spin, or if you have a really nice one that you purchase from somewhere, make sure you bring that with you. I have not seen a spin toothbrush at all in Merida, Mexico. Also in your medicine cabinet, witch hazel. If you're familiar with that product, it's an old school product, kind of like hydrogen peroxide. It's one of those things that you just kind of keep in your cabinet. Well, I know a friend of mine told me that witch hazel in the store in one of the super shed rally that I've talked a lot about, it was like $10 for a bottle, where you can get that at the dollar store here for $1. So witch hazel is really good for stopping mosquito itching or bites. And believe me, you're going to get bit by mosquitoes. So make sure you have some witch hazel with you. We're going to be sure to bring some back with us. Also in the medicine cabinet, if you have prescription medicines that you absolutely must have, things like EpiPens. If they sell the drug that's in the EpiPen, you have to administer it with a syringe. And if you need the quick release of an EpiPen, make sure you bring those EpiPens with you to Mexico, because you're not going to be able to find them easily within Mexico. So there's, you can get the drug, the adrenaline that you need, but you cannot get it in a quick, release format like an EpiPen. And so I suggest that you bring those with you when you come. Now, if there's things that you guys are hearing me talk about that, the folks that live in Mexico already, if you've seen some of these things, please do me a favor and leave me a comment below so I can know where to go find those, and also other folks can use that information to go source those items. But to my knowledge, these are things that I haven't seen. Ladies, if you use particular types of non-traditional feminine products, and I feel odd talking about that, but I've heard from my wife and from our friends that certain feminine products are not available. I guess, all the regular things like tampons and maxi pads are available, but if you use things like a cup or some other type of mechanism, then you may want to bring those. Or if you use organic items, then those are going to be a little harder to find. You may want to look into bringing those. In terms of drugs, if you want to know if your particular type of prescription medication is covered, you can actually go to any of the pharmacy's websites and type in the information, and it'll tell you if those drugs are available. It's also important to know what those drugs are called. Prescription drugs are called in Spanish. And so if you have particular types of prescriptions, it's important to know the Spanish equivalent so you can look those up. And then the last thing I'll say, ladies, that for my sisters that use, extensions or weave or what have you, if you like to enhance what you already have, you can tell I'm follically challenged. So if you like to enhance what God has given you, then make sure you bring your weave with you, because you're not going to find that particular types of hair there. There are hair care stores as well as hair moisturizer. If you're natural and you use particular types of moisturizer, I can't name any of the names because I don't use any of that. But if you use any type of hair moisturizers, that's a good thing to bring with you as well. All right, keeping this party moving right along, let's roll to the bedroom. And in the bedroom, we're going to talk about the bedroom and the closet. The first thing on the list is going to be linens. If you have sheets that you like, high thread count sheets, super comfortable sheets, any of those things, bring them with you. They're more expensive in Mexico. Now, I will tell you that the sizing may be slightly off because the beds there are a little bit different in terms of size. They're obviously measured in meters or centimeters, versus ours are going to be in inches. And so the sheet may not fit exactly right. But if you like the comfort of a nice quality high thread count sheet, you should bring those with you. You can buy them in Mexico, but it's going to cost you so much more. So I suggest you bring your sheets with you. Also for clothes, we're talking about the bedroom and the closet. If you wear, a larger size or just even something tall, if you're a tall lady, you should look at bringing all the clothes that you plan to use there with you. For shoes, almost all of the shoes have platforms. So all of the shoes have 2 to 3 inch heels on them, whether they're tennis shoes, whether they're, dress shoes. I mean, it's crazy to see people walking around in these stacks, but that is the style in the Yucatan because of, their vertically challenged. If you need something that's going to be larger than a lady size 9 in shoes or man's size 11, then you should bring your shoes with you. Even me, I wear an 11 in like most sneakers, like Nikes or what have you, and it's difficult to find a shoe bigger than an 11. In the bedroom, here's something that is, a little odd, but I'm going to mention it in this section because it just kind of goes. It'll help you sleep. Bring earplugs. You'll be surprised at how noisy Mexico as a whole country is. And what I mean by that is that there are always dogs barking. They're going to always be, you may be in an area where your neighbor has a chicken next door, or a rooster, like literally next door. There's a rooster somewhere in my area, and I live in the upscale part of Merida in the north, but there's a rooster nearby because I've heard him at 4:44 in the morning before. And so it's important that you bring earplugs with you. Now, you may be able to find earplugs there, but I'm just cautioning you before you can get to a store, depending on the Airbnb that you get or where you land, to stay, you may need earplugs that first night. So I would suggest you highly bring earplugs with you. And I'm putting that in the bedroom section because the noise there can be quite jarring. I'm sure there are noise ordinances, but everything from the gas man, zeta, zeta, zeta gas. You probably heard that little jingle, to dogs, to just random people walking up and down the street, banging drums and blowing a horn for donations. All of those things can mess up a good night's sleep or just, keep you up. So bring earplugs with you for the bedroom if you can. All right, the next room on the Mexitplans Essential Guide as to what to bring with you to Mexico is going to be the family room. If you want to see American TV in English, you should bring a Fire Stick with the software capable of watching that. I suggest you bring a VPN with you so that you can watch the shows in your country, in the US, that you may not be able to watch in Mexico. Some of the streaming services have different content based on the country that you're in. So a VPN will allow you to watch some of those things even if you're in a foreign country. So invest in a VPN software. That's the other thing I would recommend for your office. It's also good for, if you're trying to connect to sites, certain sites, government sites, like my local state and local sites will not allow me to connect to them from a foreign country. And so I use a VPN when I run into issues with connecting to a site here in the States that I might need to get access to. I use a VPN to get around those issues. A couple of things that you may not think of right off the bat, but there are a lot of power flickering and issues, a lot of brownouts. So we have UPS power backups. We also have home insurance that covers brownouts or damage, electrical damage to our appliances. That's something you can get in Mexico, but I would suggest bringing power surge protectors. If you can, surge protectors are really good for high voltage. So when, there's a voltage surge, you'll blow up the little $10 surge protector. They're easily available here in the States. They are available in Mexico as well, but I found that they're a tad bit more expensive. So if you can just throw a bunch of them in your suitcase, bring surge protectors with you. That'll help you protect your electronics. The other thing that you may want to consider bringing, or just if you're cleaning out and getting, throwing away stuff and you have a bunch of shoe boxes, if you have those little silica packets that come with, your shoes to keep things dry, Merida Mexico in particular, is super humid. And so if you can bring those little silica pouches, they're really good to keep by your electronics or to keep on your electronics so that they absorb moisture that otherwise would be going into your devices. I keep damp rid, which is a type of, box humidifier, dehumidifier in my office. I actually have a couple. so that my electronics don't get ruined by humidity. So that's something else to consider. You can get those damp rids there in Mexico, but if you have those little silicone packets and you're throwing away a bunch of shoe boxes, make sure you just keep those, throw them in your bag, put them in a Ziploc, and bring them with you to Mexico. All right, in the office, it probably goes without saying, but this is the area where I think it really pays to bring things with you. So if you have laptops, tablets, cameras, any type of electronics that you rely on, that you need, bring them with you because they're way more expensive. There's an automatic 17% IVA tax for anything in Mexico. And in some cases, when you come through customs, they will tax you based on what you have. So if you have, more than X number of computers, they're going to tax you. If you're there legally on a residence visa, then you have like 30 days to import all your stuff duty free. So just make sure you follow the rules, but be aware that, if you're bringing in electronics, if you're bringing in cameras or equipment, there's a potential that you'll be taxed on that stuff in Mexico. But even just to get it, like on Amazon, things are expensive. There's going to be an import tax. There's going to be fees that you have to pay to get electronics. Not to mention that, for instance, a MacBook. If you decide to buy a MacBook in Mexico, well, it's going to have a Spanish keyboard, which is something you may not think about. So I would suggest as something to bring, whether or not you plan to use it, is to have a US keyboard with you. Little five and below or a dollar store, you can get a US keyboard that's going to have, the keys that you're used to in English. And so you're not going to have the extra letters, but I would suggest that you bring that with you because we've had many friends that their laptops have gone out, their keyboards have gone out, and they needed to purchase a keyboard, and they end up with either a really crappy keyboard that may only have, the US letters, not the right letters, but the US letters, or they ended up with a Spanish keyboard that had extra letters, or they had to replace a laptop with a Spanish, a laptop that was designed for Latin America. So if you need an English laptop or an English keyboard, bring that with you. But I suggest you bring all of your tablets, laptops, any type of Apple product, bring it all with you because it's going to cost you more to get that same exact thing in Mexico. So that is the office. And on the Mexitplans essential guide of what to bring to Mexico, those are the things that I recommend you bring for the office. I almost forgot, the most important thing for the office is going to be a mesh network. Now, I actually have a whole video about mesh networks on the member side of my website, which is mexitplans.com. If you want to check that article out, you're welcome to do so. You can sign up for a monthly membership, which is $9.97, but you get the first 24 hours free. So as long as you cancel within those 24 hours, you can check out this article. One of the biggest issues with Wi-Fi in Merida or in Mexico in general, most of the construction is made of concrete, and Wi-Fi signals do not penetrate concrete walls. Bring a mesh network with you so that you can get Wi-Fi throughout your house. I've deployed several during my time in Merida, and everyone I've deployed has been super happy with. So go check it out. Wi-Fi network, mesh networks. So I'm going to lump this one in just as a house thing. Bring with you carbon monoxide detectors. We've been traveling with them for a while. Every time we go to Mexico, whether it's on vacation or what have you, before we moved there, we had carbon monoxide detectors. We have them in our house now. Bring a carbon monoxide detector. That's more of a whole house thing, but bring that. And while you're at it, bring a fire alarm, a smoke detector. Those houses don't typically burn down because they're concrete, but they're walled in. They're typically gated. Everything is going to be locked. So you need as much warning as you can in case a fire breaks out in your house in order to get out. Because even in our house, we have, bars on the windows. It's behind a gate. We need to be able to open the gate, open the door, get out the house safely. And so a fire detector will help you do that. All right. Thank you guys for watching this content. I really appreciate you. We are growing like you would not believe. And I really could not do any of this without you watching, you subscribing, and you being a part of that. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you guys for just giving me feedback and really, engaging me in this channel. This has been a cool experiment to see, if people would even resonate with these videos. And from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate it. do me a favor. If you like anything, if there was one moment in this video that you're like, yeah, I got to do that, or I got to remember that, hit the like button. What that does for me is it allows YouTube to know that people like this content, and YouTube will put this content in front of other folks that might be interested in the exact same thing. So do me a favor and hit that like button. You know, if you really want to honor me, subscribe and hit the bell. When you hit that bell, you'll be notified as soon as we publish new content. And so I appreciate everything you guys have done. Thank you for watching. Please continue to watch and stay tuned for this crazy saga we call life and executing this Mexitplan. Until next time, Mexitplans Monty, I'm out.